Okay. In this video, we're going to get into solving quadratics. Now, we just got done with this, so this one should be pretty recent for you. Um, that's why there's not as many of these. What I am going to do is I'm going to choose the method that I would choose, but then I'm going to talk about the other methods that you could use for these first four. So, what I see on number 24 is that there's no b value. So I'm going to use square roots. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to do that real quick. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides and then divide by 4. I want to get x squared by itself first before I do anything. Now that's not a good number. I'm just going to leave it as 9 over 4. Now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. It ends up being okay because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 4 is 2. But we need to have two solutions. Remember, when we take the square root of a number, it's plus or minus. So plus or minus the square root, plus or minus 3 over 2 is my answer on this one for x. Other methods you could use would be the quadratic formula. I'll just say QF for quadratic formula. You could actually factor this one. Most people are probably not going to choose that, but you could. Okay. So that's it for that one. Number 26, I think this one's pretty much unanimously going to be chosen as the quadratic formula. Why? The a value is not 1. Okay. And the b value is not 0. So the last one, the a value is 4, but the b value is 0. If the b value is 0, square roots every time. But if the b value is not and a is not 1, I'm doing quadratic formula. So here we go. Try and squeeze all this in. Again, this is going to be provided to you. And it should look relatively familiar because we just got done with it. B value is 2. A value is -6. C value is 7. And A is -6. Okay, so now we start simplifying. -2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared is 4. How many negatives are in that box? There's 2, so it's going to be a plus. 4 times 6 times 7 is 4 times 6 times 7 is 168 divided by -12. So that's -2 plus or minus the square root of 172 divided by -12. I'm going to go ahead and break this one down. So 172 breaks up into, let's see. Nope, doesn't divide by 3. So let's divide by 2. 86, 2 and 86. And then 86 is 2 and 43. I'm pretty sure 43 is prime, and it is. So this ends up being 2 radical 43. So I have -2 plus or minus this, 2 radical 43 over -12. Last step here. All those numbers can be divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's -1 plus or minus 1 radical 43. I don't need to write the 1, but you could. And -12 divided by 2 is -6. So that's 2 answers there. -1 plus or minus the square root of 43 divided by -6. Okay. Quadratic formula would be about the only thing you'd want to do there. All right, 25 looks like a factoring problem. But if I try to find the factors that multiply to -1 and add to 8, you're going to find that that's not possible. So factoring cannot happen. But I do see that A is 1 and B is even, so I'm going to complete the square here. Like I said, I cannot factor. I cannot do square roots. I could do the quadratic formula if I would rather do that. But I just did that one, so I'm going to do a different one now. So complete the square. I want to get that 1 out of there to create a blank. So I add 1 to the other side. And that creates a blank. Now I want to factor this. These have to be the same so that it's something squared. And what is that? It'd be 4 and 4. So now I can write that as x plus 4 squared. But then what goes in the line is 4 times 4, which is 16. Which then gives me 1 plus 16. That's 17. Square root both sides. That's x plus 4 equals the square root of 17, but positive or negative. There's nothing you can do to the square root of 17, so we're just going to leave it like that. We just remember to put a plus or minus in front of it. Final step is subtract the 4. So my answer is x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 17. And that's completing the square with nasty numbers, actually. So, all right, 27. I am going to factor this one. I know the factors. I can see them. I know them. If you can't find them, don't factor. If you can't find them, quadratic formula would be an option. Complete the square would not be a great option because B is odd. Square roots can't do. So I see the factors though, and if you don't see them, here they are. X minus 11, x plus 4 equals 0. Then you just set those both equal to 0. Add 11, you get x equals 11. Subtract 4, you get x equals negative 4. There's my two answers. Okay. All right, moving down to the discriminant. So this one a little quicker for these four. Determine the discriminant, which is a number, and then how many solutions. So you're interpreting the discriminant. So it's b squared minus 4ac. So b is negative 4 squared minus 4 times a times c. So negative 4 squared is 16. There's one negative, so it's a minus. 4 times 3 times 7 is 84. 16 minus 84 is negative 68. How many solutions then? None. Okay. 30, not ready to go yet. I need to move the 24x over first by adding it to both sides. Okay, so now I'm doing b squared, 24 squared, minus 4 times negative 16 times negative 9. 24 squared is 576. I have 3 negatives, so that's another negative. So 4 times 16 times 9 is also 576. So the discriminant here is 0, which means that there is one solution. Okay, I'm going to do that a couple more times. For 29, we're going to first bring over the 13. So it's going to give me 7x squared plus 2x minus 13 equals 0. B is 2. A is 7. C is negative 13. So 2 squared is 4. In that box are 2 negatives, so that's a plus. Now I'm just going to do 4 times 7 times 13. It's 364. So the discriminant here is 368, which means that there are 2 solutions. It's positive. On the last one here, it's already equal to 0. The C value is 0. B is 3, so B squared is 3 squared minus 4 times A is 1 and C is 0. Well, that's 9 minus 0 because that whole thing becomes 0. So it's 9, and the number of solutions is 2. All right, and that will conclude this video. We got one left to go over the word problems on the last page. So if you need help with those, see that video.